I wanted to talk to you particularly, and you as well as the other people we've interviewed, for the equal reason that you're very influential and impactful in the local artist community. You've worn many hats over the years, right? And so, because of that, I think that you're a qualified individual to give your opinion
Yeah.
on this project, right? And you have an informed opinion, not just in the musical space, but also,
Amongst our people.
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
I know y'all. I'm glad. Yeah, please adjust accordingly. See, I knew you should have done this to begin with.
Boom.
Boom, ba, baklava. Yeah, I feel like I know a plethora, a lot of folks who try their hat at performing on stage. It's been a love and passion of mine since I was like 16. Just like not even always performing. You know, it started with me like writing songs and whatnot, but like eventually, like no one would book me, so I found a way to book myself somehow. And then I was like, oh, I can use this to book other people, and it formulated into me getting to know a lot of people and their music, and I love this scene. I think it's come a long way. I think it's gonna go a lot further than how far it's come, and we're just kind of at the top of the iceberg. So thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Looking forward to listening to some nice takes on some of our favorite songs. So this dude's like throat. So like
Nice.
he's saying, I am the frog in the throat. I am the heron in the mouth. I don't know. It's a very
All right.
abstract thing. Hello.
So as you know, the project is to take popular songs from local artists and interpolate them into lo-fi, right?
Yep.
And so we
Should I not be wearing these headphones yet?
we brought them in, had them re-record their verses, right, and make them clean and whatnot. As well as to kind of experiment a little bit with the delivery of them, just based on like the melodies they were hearing and whatnot. And very similar to the Crew project, this was what I was telling Terrence. It just, everybody came in with such like good intentions and like energy and just like ego-less. And I think that's a huge contributing factor to why the project's coming together so well, because in terms of like a timeline, this should not be happening. You know what I mean? Like we had
Like a couple months.
I wrote the grant I think in like October, got accepted in November, around that time frame. We didn't start recording until this month. So earlier this month, there was 4 days out of the weekend, the consecutive weekends we recorded, and now the project's done like 2-ish. You know what I mean?
It's like you spent 3 weeks in the studio, you know,
right.
like it's,
and then throwing something together, and a lot of the music of it was rolling like as we were recording, so it's not like, hey, I have all these beats done, let's rap over them. It's like, okay, here's a couple of them. There was one in particular that wasn't made until the night before he came in. Right, just kind of keeping being intentional but not like forcing anything, just kind of like just being receptive.
Whatever, as it is, as it comes, it is.
Exactly.
And receive and try to interpret from what you're hearing.
Exactly, not forcing anything, just kind of like letting the
almost
universe,
the best way to do it.
Yeah, just be kind of like a vessel, you know what I mean? Just be open to that inspiration, and then it'll come how it's supposed to.
Because I think when the artists were initially, you know, they might have self-produced their beats, but a lot of times when you're writing or recording to a beat, you're in the headspace of what like phonetically what is the audience going to hear based on what I'm putting over this instrumental,
right?
And so they're familiar with that headspace already, but now that it's being introduced to them in with a different light setting, you know, it's kind of muted. It might be a little bit more not depressing, but calmer, and but they're still in that same creative headspace that they were in when they initially wrote the song, and so they're just reintroducing.
Right, and for them, it's just almost like pressureless. It's like because you have you know what I mean. The song's already made, so now
there's not the pressure of writing the lyrics.
Right,
it's
for you,
just
it's just kind of a playground.
Delivering.
You know what I mean? Play around with this thing that you probably already know, like the back of your hand. You know.
And I think a lot of people might get their first introduction to doing something like this with their vocals. Not necessarily first, but you see it on like Saturday Night Live. You know, you'll hear the track artist or the track that you've heard on the radio for weeks, and now all of a sudden they're performing it with a live band. It's a different experience for both the artist, I think, as well as the audience. So anyway, I'm stoked to hear some of these. I feel like I might have heard most of these songs, but
I feel like you have
maybe not.
There might be one or two that are a pleasant surprise for you, because there was 3 artists that I wasn't familiar with.
Okay.
One out of Charleston. That's kind of our wild card. His artist name is Body Slam Me Baby.
Body Slam Me Baby.
And I love it. And I say he's a wild card because everybody else is kind of in that R&B hip hop space, whereas he's kind of alternative and like indie. I want to say rock, kind of like the bedroom.
I feel like we have
an
upcoming artist here in Columbia. She goes by Baby Danger. With you might have been at one of the Fester shows when they were there. Maybe similar, something.
No, his isn't like hip hop at all.
Oh, at all. It's just straight. Okay, well I'm stoked.
It's almost like it's like bedroom punk rock almost, or, you know.
I don't know, but it sounds like something worth.
It's hard to explain. It's one of these kind of like sub genre. Because whenever you say alternative, like that doesn't even mean anything anymore.
It's all alternative.
Right. Alternative just means not these things.
It's like any artist who doesn't want to consider themselves a rapper. They're like, dude, I'm not a rapper. I'm an artist. I just make music, man.
Right.
Okay, but you get beats from the internet and you put lyrics on it. Okay. I see where your point is.
You say alt whenever you don't know what it is.
Yeah, and that's a totally, I think.
Which is cool, but then it just becomes this umbrella term that doesn't mean anything to anybody.
It's like that reference from The Incredibles. If everyone's a superhero, nobody's a superhero.
Because I was trying to describe.
If everyone's alternative.
I was trying to describe Body Slam Me Baby, and I said alternative, and I was like, yeah, that gives you no context at all, you know?
That's hilarious.
All right, so here are the options.
Okay.
I'm just going to let you grab one.
I don't even get, just so y'all are aware, I don't even get a clue to who's on here.
At all.
free sampling. I'm going to start with a good number, I think, and that's going to be 11. Okay. Yeah.
You know what that is?
I'm waiting for it. I don't know. I want to say I confidently know who it is, but I don't yet. I feel like it's a trap. It's Tony? Tony, that's yeah, okay. I see you, Tony. Number 11. First one I picked. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
She's one of the ones that took a lot of liberties when playing around with like the delivery of it.
Just trying to like delivering it. I think it sounded so much like a Tony Esther song already because I think that's just a vibe. But I also think, I don't know if I've heard that song performed live, but I think I've heard that song, and it just a little bit more mellow. All right, next song. Or do we need to talk about?
No, you can go for it. We can talk about them all in
number 3. Let's do number 3. Guitar off the rip.
It says 3 different people on it.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's juicy. Yeah. I know this person.
You've definitely crossed paths with both of them, but you might not know them.
I want to say like Bluesy and A.R. Shad, but I don't.
I'm not mad at that guess, but no.
No?
That's
okay.
a really good guess, but no.
Is that Terrence? No. I really like that riff right there. It's like the guitar is like quick staccato, but what is that, a harmonica or a synthesizer or something? It's kind of undertoning it, yeah. Pulling it together. Kenya? Who is it?
Tiffany J.
Oh, okay.
Lamonte Foyer and Danielle Blood.
Okay, I don't know the other two. I have heard of Tiffany J. I haven't spent too much time, I don't think, with our paths crossed, but she's a great singer. I've heard her perform live a couple times. And I think she's been amongst this scene way longer than I think a lot of people realize, because she sings for a couple, I want to say a couple different bands maybe. I don't want to spit knowledge that I don't know. Okay, let's see. We've done 3 and 11.
And you know Danielle Blood.
Do I?
Bassist for Death Ray Robin.
Okay.
And like I said, you and Lamonte Foyer have probably crossed paths, but he's I love whenever, and before I even heard his music, I knew that he was really good at music, because there's like this universal demeanor with people that are like really good at what they do, to where they're like quiet and recluse and like aren't like super outward, you know what I mean, about what they do. So
Corey Stone.
So he like walked up and like chopped it up with me at a show once. and then like he mentioned that he made music in response to something I said. You know what I mean?
So I'm just gonna
Right,
insert it, but it's not gonna. I'm not gonna be able to
Right.
introduce myself.
And I was like,
off
I
of
know
it.
it's good. Same thing with JB. Like JB chopped it up
JB
with
is
me
a savage.
years ago. He walked up to me after one of my shows, and he was like, "Yeah, I do music too." And I was like, "I bet you it's really good."
It's so gas.
You know what I
Was it
mean?
one of the White Mule shows?
Yeah, it
Like
was
2019?
It was that White Mule show, the
With
November one.
The Eli and was it Dasso?
Dasso Lee,
and
Eli. I can't remember the other guy's name. It was Eli, me, Dasso Lee.
You know, bringing Eli back for a future show. He just dropped it now. I'm not trying to plug him right now. It's not scripted or whatever. But he has come a long way. That I'm proud of that kid.
Yeah.
He's
been grinding for a minute.
Yeah, he just keeps trying. He just keeps putting his foot forward, and you know, great job, man. But not here to discuss that. On to the next, number 7. That's a good number.
What's up with y'all in 7s and 11s?
Craps.
Spiritual people.
Craps. Yeah.
Or crap.
Luck of the draw. Yeah. Okay.
I like this one because this one feels real hip hop.
I can hear it off the bat. I'm trying to find out who it is, though.
You'll know when the chorus comes.
I've heard this song, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Black Carl? Mm-mm. No, he's a little more aggressive on it. Mike Sound, yeah.
I like this part.
My bad, Mike. I got it, though. Oh, hey, yeah. Yeah. Same energy. Say. I like how they chopped that right there.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same engineer. Was it you engineered the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I'm just vibing with all of y'all, Mr. X. Say. Okay. So, I'm glad that one made the cut. I think that was a great number 7. Like, what, there's 13 altogether? 15?
I don't
16?
even know. Because none of those numbers make sense anymore.
Okay,
because, like,
just
4 of them got scrapped, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Or this one turned into this, and this got
Okay.
blended together.
That's cool.
And I didn't name them yet because I wanted to stay unbiased while mixing. You know what I mean? So I would listen to something. Are
you gonna do like a Billie Eilish or Andre 3000 where the whole album like titles make like a actual sub poem or something?
That's what I've been trying to figure out. Cause like, yeah, I want to be like kind of creative with the titling and whatnot, but I also want to pay homage a little bit to like the originals, you know what I mean? And if there's situations where there's multiple artists, to make sure like that title is
like they
representative
can get,
of all of them.
if you search one, you'll have that one, but then you'll have
Right.
the mix. What's going on? I was feeling something. What was going on?
And make sure that if somebody's searching this version, they can still also find the original.
That's
you
a
know what
great
I mean?
point. Yeah.
So I think I might just stay true to
As
the
long
titles.
as I think, and you're pretty good at, but as long as you have like the ASCAP or the BMI stuff like linked, like the searches will pull them together.
For sure.
7, 3, 11.
Yep. Give me one more.
Goodness me.
So scared all of y'all are just gonna pick the same songs.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, but.
Is that what? So
Terrence managed to, because we weren't playing it from my phone, we were playing the soft bounces from my computer. He managed to pick every one of them that got scrapped.
Oh no!
I was like, I don't know if you should buy the lottery ticket or like never.
Or
buy
never
a
pay
ticket.
any kind of. Okay. Oh shit. I'm gonna need you to.
So he might not even like the project just based off the fact he listened to all the ones that didn't make it.
Okay, give me 2 more because I wanna see. I feel like this has been. I listen to a lot of NPR, and this is like that. Wait, don't tell me. You know, game that they do on Saturdays. I like this. This is a cool vibe. All right, I'm gonna go with the last one on my screen. It's number 16. Okay. Who has this like vocal, not delay, but just offbeat call and response? Who is this? On everything. I like this right here. I think the closest clue for that one was at the last second of the song. I don't know who that was.
Yeah, you do.
I do. Just so y'all know, he didn't give me like a words group of artists.
Nothing.
I didn't have any. This is totally blind.
And you're doing really good to have like no context and be able. That just goes to show that you listen to local artists.
I love y'all. Oh, y'all. All right, let me just do it quick. Let me.
Especially considering it could be literally anybody.
Anybody like. I can. That's not gonna even. Is it easy? No.
That's a
Easy
good
got a
guess.
different voice.
I'll give you a big hint. It's not anybody new from the previous. I know that voice. Choose your demise wisely. I'm gonna give 2 guesses. Of all the artists you've spit out, it's one of those.
Damn it.
I can't give you a bigger hint than
AR?
that. Get it.
No, Terrence. AR's out of town. He's not even here.
Right.
Yeah, so he wouldn't. Damn it.
Which is good because it just goes to show that there's enough difference in the remix from the original
Yes.
that it's hard to kind of
Yeah.
pinpoint who it is. And so either you recognize the voice or you just know the song itself to
On the
decipher who it is.
everything. Who is that? Carl? No?
Mm-mm.
Who is it? All right.
Mike Sound again.
Oh. Okay, that was a trick. That was a trick.
Ooh. You might not know who this is. Either of them.
Well, that's just not fair, Pat.
I like this song though.
I like it already. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Wow, I like that transition a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. These are Columbia artists?
Mm-hmm. He's one of them, yes. The other one, can't remember where he's from. He's currently in grad school at SC State?
Okay.
SC State?
So I probably wouldn't know him. I do like, and considering how that whole crescendo went, I look forward to hearing the original song. You know, so I think this is I'm sure you said that was our last one. Just to talk kind of like my thoughts on what I'm wrapping my head around. I'm excited for finding artists on the same kind of tier that I kind of like to work with that I don't know, but I also am very excited to, my first experience with their song is going to be on this lo-fi agenda. So going back and seeing how they translate previously, but also I think that it's just going to be a great experience. Like the Sensei by Mike Sound, like I was like, I know this song. I've heard it live. I've heard it as an MP3. But it was just a whole different experience. And I can see almost, not necessarily the frustration, but you almost got to be liquid with laying your vocals down with this. You have to just be, like you said, free form, go with what you're hearing, and because you know how the ether of the song is originally.
Right.
You've already, we talked about this earlier, you've already formulated the lyrics, but it is a different experience. I want to know, because you engineered the whole thing, you produced the whole thing. By
Well, we had
a band, the house band.
We had some musicians come in. So, for example, just to back up a little bit, David Givens is the artist for that song.
Sorry, yeah.
And then there's some saxophone by Dakari, who's he's a mass comm student here, but is in the band.
Okay.
And so Dakari came in. David Price, incredible bassist, multi-instrumentalist, keyboardist, pianist. I hate the word pianist, keyboardist.
Musician in
Danielle
general.
Blood on bass, you know what I mean? And so I got a lot of MIDI. Mark is doing kind of
Sick.
like an interlude. I just gave him a melody. I was like, do your thing because you're an OG, you know? So yeah.
Wow. But you engineer, so for, I'm sure you're going to explain this at some point, but just for the sake of my curiosity, you're formulating this idea as you're sipping tea probably, and you're listening to these beats online anyway, probably as you're meditating and think about your day, and you're like, man, I could do this with our guys.
Mm-hmm.
From taking that idea, fleshing it out, you had to apply, for the grant and get the equipment and all this. So you have spent probably a lot of time thinking about this project.
Mm-hmm.
How did you engineer, and I mean that in the sense the transition from the initial songs into the lo-fi kind of instrumental part, but without hearing their voices yet, you had to provide the infrastructure for all of them.
For sure. I think it one comes down to kind of studying the space that you're diving into, because all of this is drastically different from my personal music, you know what I mean? And so there's a challenge in that to listen to more lo-fi. What are the different components that make it that, right?
The genre
learning
itself,
that, and then figuring out where you can kind of take liberties, right? Because there's certain liberties you can take to where it's still in that lo-fi space, but some things that you take away that'll dismiss it as being that genre at all, you know?
Absolutely.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like where you place the snare is going to determine whether something's a dance beat or it's reggaeton or it's hip-hop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily take liberties in that space, but there's other places where you can
like where that horns came in that last song,
right? Like lo-fi is not going to have a brass section, you know what I mean? But you can implement that because the drums
and that's
are
the
very
jazz
lo-fi.
kind of part of it all. It's
Exactly.
there's still kind of
mm-hmm. So you have a whole lot of
liquid.
wiggle room once you kind of immerse yourself in that space. I think the other part of it is the fact that I'm very used to sampling and kind of taking, because I'm a big well, at one point I was really big on, if I'm gonna sample something, and I still kind of feel this way, if I'm gonna sample something, one, I'm gonna listen to the original and pay homage to the person that created it. I'm not gonna take your stuff without at least listening to the original. Secondly, if I like the original as is so much, then I'm not gonna sample it, you know what I mean? But if I have the intention of pitching it down an octave, slowing it down to 90 BPM, and completely Frankensteining it to where it still has the essence that where I like the sample, you know what I mean? But it's drastically different from the original. Then I feel like I'm paying homage to the craft of sampling. Not to say that people that take a whole sample they're doing it wrong or anything like that. To each his own, you know what I mean? That's just kind of personally how I feel about sampling. And so having,
because once you take a sound bit, you can alter it.
Right, exactly.
Any way you want.
My biggest thing is just making sure that I alter it enough, you know? And so having a extensive background in that, I guess my mind kind of works that way. And so as I'm listening to their original stuff, I can kind of dissect all the different parts of that song and kind of figure out, what key is this song already in? How can I flip this? Let me actually learn how to play the original melody, and then maybe instead of the 2, let me put the 4 here and see how that works. Or instead of this being 4 bars, what happens if it's just the 2 bars? You know what I mean? And I slow it down to whatever, So that's why I think a lot of this still has the essence of the original.
Because to your everyday Joe, what you're doing is a superpower. I don't think maybe you do know, but the way you can see the blueprint, is God looking over a snow globe kind of a deal. And I know it's kind of meshy. You're not quite God, sorry, but it's just
that was crazy.
Yeah. But you're kind of hovering over. You can kind of see the whole image from a bird's point of view. It's not necessarily clear for you, but you know kind of the route you need to take. And I think that I really think that that's a superhero, because when I was first introduced to you, gosh, it was a competition at New Brooklyn Tavern, the old one, for Battle of the Mic. It was a traveling competition.
Past the bar.
Past the bar, yeah.
That was a dope
2017 or 18, I don't remember when it came through. But I was like, oh, this guy's got some bars. But 3-4 years down the air, however long I've known you for, but I've seen some acoustic Pat, I've seen some hardcore Pat, and although I've seen this kind of spectrum of what your genre is, lo-fi has not been a genre that I have, thought of when I think of Pad X until now. And I think that this is a really cool project, and it's a totally different way for you to express yourself as a producer and as a influencer on our scene. I'm stoked about this whole album. I know I'm not trying to gas you up too much, but
that's love. That's a lot of love.
It's really cool to see how these experiences that we've enjoyed these songs so far. I didn't hear any Mila or Hero or anything like that. I don't know if they're on there or not, but
where are you going? Come back.
I'm trying to get off screen. But the artists that I did hear, I've observed in the past, and stoked to hear just the rest of the project.
And that's the cool thing about all of this is one, and you've seen kind of that journey to where like for a while it was pretty inconsistent in terms of how I sounded, because I was still trying to figure out like what my sound is. And so in doing that, I've kind of dabbled in like the neo soul space, the backpack rapper, the this space, the that space. And so now that I kind of know what my sound is, or what I align with, you know what I mean, that doesn't mean that I still don't like these other spaces, you know what I mean. That's just not the pocket that I decided to be in with Pat X. And so a lot of the big reason why I started Psyche was so that I can like dabble and collaborate with all these other people that fit into those pockets that I enjoy but don't necessarily make sense for me, you know what I mean. And it allows me to be a little bit more behind the scenes,
Totally.
But
so, I still, with respect to the artist Pat X and this project, which I don't know if you're on as an artist or not, it still is a creation of yours. You know, it's still a form. Like, I can still respect, like, this is a visual piece. It's you as a director. And I think that's why you're saying this is, when you want to associate me with the director vibe, it's Psyche versus this is
right. And that's the thing. It's like whenever you watch like a film, and that's a great analogy. When you watch the film, you don't say like, "Oh man, Christopher Nolan." Like I say that,
we
right?
Both saying that.
Right. But you look at the movie, and it's like it's the film that's fucking awesome.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you might do some research to figure out who that director is, so you can see more examples of the stuff that they make. You know what I mean? I don't know Christopher Nolan from a slice of bread. You know, like I know nothing about him as a person.
Right.
And he's probably one of my favorite directors. You know what I mean? But the work that he puts out, you know what I mean? So I really want Psyche to be that. I want you to go to Psyche and see this as like
Can I find some more of this
visual
audio space, creative
I like
space.
a piece of you. I like a piece of you. Let me craft this and put and create something that puts all of these different elements in the best light possible. And then I want to sit in the corner with the rest of the people that are like enjoying